Hello again, everyone. Dan Rexroth here, John Knox Village, JKV Frontline News. And today I'm here with Ron Clement. He's president of the Resident Council. And so I just thought I'd interview Ron, talk a little bit about what's going on with Resident Council these days. And so, Ron, I got a few questions for you. I'd just like to get into it now. The first question is, what's the Resident Council doing during this uncertain time, COVID-19? How are you all responding to this situation?
Like all the residents, we hope we're social distancing. I have a mask. I didn't wear it today because I knew we wouldn't wear them while we were being interviewed. But we're trying to stay at home and be very careful. And then for me especially, and my vice president Fran Baker, we have been in touch with Stephanie Zelstra a lot about what's going on and how we might be able to communicate better, not only John Knox but us, with the residents who are members of the council. And of course I've been in touch with you, and I've been back and forth with Maria Timberlake, and it's been a very good working relationship.
Wonderful. And I hear just anecdotally from neighborhood groups and district reps and so forth that some of them are actually reaching out and calling residents in their neighborhoods or on their apartment floors, and so, boy, that's wonderful. Thank you for
that's our job. And I've been in touch with my since I'm the neighborhood rep for Hope Lane, I've been in touch with my folks 2 or 3 times on different matters, and it's just first of all, it's fun to talk to them, so but it serves a purpose.
And how are residents responding during this time?
I think very well. I haven't heard what I would call complaints. I mean, folks seem to understand why we're doing what we're doing. I know there are a couple of people that think, how long is this going to last? But they're not going as far as the protesters in Michigan and Wisconsin were. So,
and I know for the village, Ron, that we're kind of walking this tightrope between being too strict on residents and being too relaxed. We certainly want to protect our residents, and mostly what I'm hearing is people being appreciative of the measures we're putting in place, so that we don't have the COVID-19 on the campus.
I think that is true, and I've said it before, of course I've said it to you, that I think you folks have done exactly what had to be done, and anybody who thinks you can open up a state or go back to work or whatever should take a look at what's been done here, and by staying apart and following these restrictions. What have we had? 1 COVID-19 case, and that's under control.
And no residents?
No residents, so it worked well.
And we're not overconfident about that, because something could happen tomorrow.
That's right. Now, I understood that I could ask questions of you.
I didn't understand that was going to be part of this interview.
As a matter of fact, I have 27.
I thought I was going to be asking the questions, and then you were going to be responding.
Well, we're going to change that.
Well, the producers of the show told me something a little bit different. They said that I would be asking the questions and you would be responding.
Well, I think it's possible that despite our good working relationship and my good relationship with the producers, in this case, they may not know what they're talking about.
Well, boy, I'm sorry about this big miscommunication that we've had, but...
well, we can resolve it right now.
Okay. Well, I'm willing to give, if the questions aren't too hard, like, I just can't imagine what the questions would be, but let's just go ahead. Okay,
well, the first one is a real easy one, okay? I taught college for years, and you'd have essay questions and you'd have yes or no questions. And this one is almost a yes or no question.
Okay.
The trouble is
multiple choice?
No, just yes or no, true, false.
Okay.
The only problem is you have to get the right answer.
Okay.
So, will the John Knox Board of Directors, as scheduled, I guess you would say, be picking a resident member of the board from the 3 nominees that were sent to it? That was scheduled for May, but with the coronavirus, can they do that?
Well, it's always hard for me to give a yes/no answer, but the answer quickly is yes.
Okay.
We have had a chance to interview all 3 candidates, and so the nominating committee has made a decision. The board meeting will be May 4th, and it's going to be a virtual meeting.
Yes, okay.
We're going to continue virtual meeting, and we will carry on normal business So the resident board member will be elected May 4th.
Good, good. And one thing I want to interject, and I know you know this too, but I've been here 6 years. We've had nominees for the board before. This time we've got 3 really good people who've been nominated.
Oh,
I mean, any one of the 3 would do very well.
It was a difficult process because I know the nominating committee said, wow, any 3 of these residents could serve well. So.
Right now we have a problem. That was supposed to be a yes/no question.
Oh, okay.
And
okay, so I'll try and do better.
Let's see.
Are they going to get harder? The question's going to get harder?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Knowing you as well as you do, I think you can handle them.
Okay.
You're like one of my better students.
Oh.
So, okay. The administration's done a really good job of placing reasonable restrictions, and what I'm curious about, what process was used? Was a committee formed? Did it meet regularly by telephone or video conference? How did you folks pull all this together?
Okay, wow, that's a good question.
Okay.
We actually probably have 5 different areas that were represented on our emergency response team. So the executive staff obviously was involved. We also have our public safety folks. Brian Apoka is leading there. We have our communications people because we want to make sure this gets communicated, risk management, and then also the business unit leaders. And what I mean by that is administrator at the care center, administrator at assisted living, all those different areas, home health. And so we met in the beginning, we met a lot. We talked on the weekends, we talked evenings 24/7. We're sharing emails, text messages, face-to-face meetings, social distancing. But in the beginning particularly, lots of meetings, lots of people, because all of us are smarter than any one of us.
That's right. That's
so
right.
We're putting together a good group, and that's how the process works.
Yeah, that's really great. I know, if I'm not mistaken, Maria Timberlake was heavily involved in all of it.
Yes.
And she's always so well organized. Will the COVID-19 situation affect the plans for future development at John Knox? For example, would Meadows 2 get delayed?
Wow, that's a really good question, and I'm sure it's one that's in a lot of residents' minds, a lot of staff folks' mind. My philosophy on that is we're not going to let this moment in time define our story. Okay. So the village has a long-term vision. The village is looking out years into the future, and I think this COVID-19 situation is a moment. Now, it's consuming a lot of time and a lot of energy on our part, but that doesn't stop the vision.
Okay.
So the board continues to meet, staff continues to talk, and my guess is that in the next coming weeks or a couple of months, the residents are going to hear more about, once we have more solid plans in place, the residents are going to be hearing more and more about our vision for the future.
Very good. Yeah, glad to hear that. And
how many more questions, Ron?
Just one, Dan.
Oh, okay,
just
okay.
One. And it's almost a yes, no, not quite. How will John Knox decide to remove the COVID-19 restrictions once the governor and other regulators decide it's time to return to normal? I'm guessing we want to be a little more careful than anybody else.
Yeah, well, that's really good. And I've heard our government leaders, from the president on down to governors and mayors, say this is one of the most difficult decisions they're going to make in terms of how do we get life back to normal. So just a few things I'd say. One is that we're going to follow all the directives of government, CDC, and all the agencies that oversee us. We're also going to make sure that this is a phased approach. So we're not going to go from what we have today to wide open in a day. So it'll be phased. My guess is it'll be a little different for folks that live in independent living than the folks that live in assisted living and in the care center. And also, we will make sure we communicate all of these decisions and changes that get made and kind of the rationale for that. So
sounds good.
That's a little bit of information, and hopefully you'll be hearing about that soon. I know we've got some May dates here that are coming up, but my hope is that we'll get back to normal as quick as we can.
Yep, let's hope. Let's hope, but safely. And you and I kid each other. I have lots of crazy comments I could make at the end of this, but I've enjoyed the conversation.
Great, thank you, Ron. And I didn't know you were going to interview me, but hopefully this works.
That would,
All right.
okay, yeah, thank you.
Thanks, everybody, for watching.